Yep, it's me back in the garage. Just want to go ahead and add a follow-up video to my fish release video. So this past weekend had a tournament at Lower Otay in San Diego. It was the first Federation tournament of the year. No, I did not win it. In fact, I was towards the bottom, but I did get a limit, and limits were hard to come by in this event. What I did, I started off with a jerk bait and I was throwing it as close to the bank as possible. So when I hooked up, it was probably about, I would say, less than a foot of water when the fish bit. And those that fished Otay before, the spot I started at was going into Harvey's Arm um, on the roadside. About halfway down, there's a little cove. Um, I started about 100 yards up from there. You know you're in the right spot if you look up to the road and see like a green cross or T. That's where I started, and then uh, couldn't get any more bites with the jerk bait. Traveled up and down there, spent probably about like 40 minutes or so in that area. Then I jetted directly across from where I started into another, we'll just say, shallow cove. It was not only was it shallow, but it wasn't much of a cove. It was more like an indentation. But there was rocks on either side that I can see coming from the shore going into the water. And I threw a drop shot up to those rocks. And as I pulled them off the rocks, had two fish bite, and they got them in the well. So that helped a lot. Worked that area probably for another 40 45 minutes. Didn't get much. Then continued hitting some other spots in Harvey's Arm. Just couldn't get anything to react or to hook up. Left out to Otay Arm, and we started catching fish again, or I started catching fish again when I went all the way to Otay, in the back of Otay, where the trees were, and right where the rowing buoys stopped. So that area you could see with the forward-facing sonar. Uh, Tried jiggling the minnow, didn't work for me, but I was able to get a couple on a drop shot. In fact, I caught the most fish back there with the drop shot using a forward-facing sonar. No, it wasn't every cast that I saw a fish and I was getting them to bite, but I would see them swim general area, and I was able to throw the worm out there. And sometimes they bit it, sometimes, or I would say most of the time, they didn't. So it was still fun catching them. The issue with back there, I only had one that kept. Most of the fish that I was catching back there were short. And what I mean by short was smaller than 13 inches. So if you're trying to catch 12-inch fish, yeah, you can have a field day back there. Uh, but if you're catching something or looking for something 13 inches or bigger, it just didn't work out for me. Now, as for the baits, the jerk bait I used was the Livingston in the AU color, or maybe it's IU. And like I said, I was throwing it real shallow. I love the Livingstons because it creates the bait fish sound. I don't know if it works better on me or if it works on a fish, but I did get one to bite, so that was good. And then as for the drop shot, the color worm I was using was Texas tilapia. Yes, I know it's a shock. It wasn't Oscar Charlie. In fact, I couldn't get bit on that orange crusher, nor margarita mutilator or any other color. The only thing they wanted, at least for me, was the Texas tilapia. It came out last year about the Bassmaster Classic. Still have tons of worms because when it first dropped, I basically maxed out what I could buy per the website, and yeah, kind of locked it up for everyone else. But you can get on Talgo Warehouse. The worm is, I don't know, it doesn't look like super special to me, but the fish liked it on this past Sunday. So just wanted to go ahead and provide that information. If you're going out there to Otay next few days or so, you may want to give it a shot. If not, hey, maybe you can use it where you're at. Tie lines, everyone. Out.